Intern Aja from the Visitation Homes community site decided to write a poem that is inspired by the song Girl on Fire by Alicia Keys, as this was her interviewee's favorite song. The poem that she wrote is titled Fire, Desire, and Change. Intern Hannah, whose Bridging the Gaps community site was the Nationalities Service Center, wrote a poem about her experience at her site. It is titled Testimonies of the Refugee Experience. Intern Bryce, from the Students Run Philly Style community site, created a mosaic that captures the spirit of Philly Track John, a community-driven movement built on inclusion, resilience, and collective identity. Blending imagery of track, city, and people, the piece symbolizes how a simple idea grew into a vibrant, evolving space for connection, healing, and purpose. It's not just about running, it's about creating a place where everyone belongs. Intern Cheyenne from the Mercy Neighborhood site said that her storytelling piece is meant to describe how a teacher can not only have multiple roles in a child's life, but also play a prominent role in their community. According to Cheyenne, the teacher that she interviewed for her project is a preschool teacher of 3-year-olds, and that the teacher has had the opportunity to help her teach life skills and to spark creativity within the classroom. The teacher has a biology degree and has a sewing business, so there are other parts of her identity that she brings to the Mercy community. Intern Olua Palumi from the Mercy Neighborhood site created a hand-drawn portrait of a beloved teacher at the Mercy Neighborhood Ministries. Years ago, this teacher attended Mercy's summer camp and now works beside the teacher that once taught her. The teacher described this as a full circle moment, because going to the camp was one of her favorite memories as a child. As a teacher, she's able to give students the same fun experience she had, and in doing so, she's found healing in the midst of grieving a recent loss. She describes Mercy as a pillar of the community that everybody knows about. In her words, to put it shortly, Mercy is home. Intern Kazaya from the Visitation Home site created a short video featuring trees in all 4 seasons, layered with quotes drawn from the interviews that she conducted. She decided to depict the trees in this form as a means of representing the different phases of life. Intern Alex from the Cobbs Creek Trail created a visual art piece entitled Hanged Swing. The swing resembles one from a park on the trail, and as an anonymous interviewee remarked, if the trail were in a different neighborhood, the swing might have already been repaired. The broken chain wraps tightly around its tethered partner, giving the appearance of strangulation. To Alex, the swing is more than a piece of equipment, but a visual metaphor that underscores the importance of the maintenance work being done at the site. Keeping the trail safe and functional and welcoming on top of it all isn't just about appearances or property value. It's about ensuring that the public resources remain accessible and fun for all. Intern Shemalayo from the Olivet Boys and Girls Club of Reading and Berks County interviewed somebody who wants people to recognize the rich culture and deep history embedded in the streets of Reading, a city shaped by its resilient and close-knit community. What they love most is the sense of unity, family, and support that surrounds them, a feeling that they carry and share with others. To quote the interviewee, one of my most cherished memories was celebrating the 2017 state basketball championship with the entire city, dancing and laughing together in pure joy. Community resources like the Olivet Boys and Girls Club and Reading School District, along with the wisdom shared across generations, are pillars of our strength. While the events of the past few years, including the pandemic, caused some division and hardship, they also cultivated awareness, resilience, and stronger connections, both in the city and within myself, teaching me to persevere and continue growing no matter the circumstances.
Intern Madeline did an interview with someone who works at their site, and she told Madeline about a book mobile where she learned about sexual health. This collage represents that experience. Through visual representations, intern Maggie presents the Old Pine Community Center from her perspective. In these pictures, we can see open, green environments, as well as access to gardens, food, and spaces for physical activity. Old Pine emphasizes inclusivity in their youth programs, food programs, and community engagement. Intern Victoria represents the families that come to Philadelphia Fight in 3 sections: community, resources, and obstacles. The fresh fruits and flowers represent how the community is colorful, full of life and joy, and thriving in Philadelphia. The hose stems from the resources. always trickling in what support might be needed. On the far panel, the hose extends to more arid, tense conditions, but the plants seen can still flower with some more intensive support represented by the snake. Intern Miriam painted this piece to represent the deep-growing roots of the cooperative and the Camden community. Some points that stuck out during the interview was that the community was wide and varied, but each member still made sure to take care of one another and learn from each other to grow. Interns Kea, Lydia, and Cass wanted to honor Southwest CDC Youth Camp's summer theme of outer space by building their very own solar system. Each handprint represents someone from camp, kindergarten through first grade, aliens, first to second grade, rockets, second to third grade, comets, third to fourth grade, astronauts, and the sun rays represent the instructors and directors. Throughout the solar system, you can see different space entities and the planets that represent the topics that BTG covered this summer. The students also chose to interview a few of the directors and instructors about what it means to be a part of the camp and what this camp means to the broader Southwest Philly community. Each person emphasized the importance of showing up for one another and, most importantly, for the youth. Intern Karen made this digital collage to map the impact of Philadelphia Fight in the physical community the clinic resides in. The texts are a mix of quotes from the interview and quotes and articles about John Bell, the activist and community member that the clinic is named after. The images in the collage represent the 4 options of PrEP available for patients, a free HIV and STI testing event the site did in the community, and some patient education materials for HIV prevention. 2 of the images celebrate the newly approved 6-month injectable form of PrEP that was recently approved. Intern Natasha interviewed a young woman at Covenant House who they will be calling Kay and created this collage to honor her strengths and personality. Throughout the summer, they have been learning a strengths-based model of healthcare that aims to truly see each individual as they are, rather than for any external behaviors or manifestations of trauma. Kay is represented by each adjective in the collage, as well as her love for books, writing, and the color purple, and walks in nature. Intern Jasmine helped connect patients to social resources this summer and wanted to represent her experience through a medium that also captured how much time and care each encounter required, as well as how much effort social workers, case managers, and community health workers put into this kind of work. The lines on this knitted piece reflect an example of a social needs questionnaire and the kinds of responses she received from patients. And just like social work, this piece is not yet complete, still a work in progress. Intern Clarissa engaged in conversations with members and staff at the Philadelphia Senior Center about what they loved most and what they were most grateful for. They worked on this art display together, and now it is framed and hung in the center, a reflection of warm memories and gratitude. Intern Carson worked as a community health intern this summer to support the efforts of the Greater Philadelphia Health Action. They provided medical support and health care to underserved populations of Philadelphia and wrote this poem called The Warning. Intern Julie created a word cloud based on what the interviewee said Broad Street Love's website and values that they felt Broad Street Love represents. It is in the shape of a heart to symbolize Broad Street Love's logo. Intern Ada wanted to make this art piece to highlight the various GPHA health center locations, which emphasizes the organization's efforts to extend their care across Greater Philadelphia, increasing healthcare access to various communities.
For the narrative project, intern Ronnie McCauley wrote a poem titled Purpose, which highlights the warm atmosphere at the Old Pine Community Center, or OPCC. Amanda, an intern at Casa Guadalupe, took this picture of the center's location. She emphasized the importance of the center to all of the students it serves and how the children are given a safe space within the community by the way of the Casa Guadalupe Center. Keenan, an intern at Promise Neighborhoods, wrote this poem based off of an interview with a member of the community who spoke about his own mental health struggles at the panel for men's health. Ikra, an intern at Alliance Hall, had her students leave their mark by making thumbprints out of paint on a t-shirt. She emphasized that each child had their own unique and colorful personalities, and each one of them felt safe enough to be themselves at Alliance Hall, a safe space. Here we see an image by Sydney, who interned at DePaul, USA. Intern Mohammed writes a poem that begins with his interviewee's struggles and ends with the resilience and perseverance they eventually discovered. Intern Nora wrote a poem centered around the enduring personal and societal impacts of COVID-19, portraying it not just as a historical event, but as an ongoing source of grief and struggle. The poem specifically featured the journey of a resident in one of Philly's family residences who, despite profound loss, persevered for her child. Intern Mariama was inspired to create this image titled Generational Changes after a conversation with a 77-year-old woman who was born and raised in the Fishtown neighborhood of Philadelphia. Mariama asked her what she wanted outsiders to know about her community. She said it has changed. The yuppies are not friendly, there are no more corner stores, and there are so many new buildings that you no longer know where you are. The leftovers have been left with nothing. When Mariama asked her to explain what she meant by yuppies and leftovers, she said yuppies are the newcomers, while leftovers are the longtime residents who were there before the changes.